Welcome to the YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub, your one-stop solution for expert guidance, best practices, and actionable knowledge in the world of contact centers. Explore, learn, and enhance contact center skills. Let's see strategic most important questions of forecasting method, expert judgment. Let's see first strategic question, role of expert judgment in a multimodal forecasting ecosystem. Question 1. In a modern, AI-enabled forecasting environment, what strategic role should expert judgment play in long-term call center forecasting? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. In a modern, AI-enabled forecasting environment, expert judgment should play a strategic role, not as a replacement for statistical or AI models, but as a disciplined override and alignment mechanism. Expert judgment exists to bridge gaps where data alone is insufficient. This includes situations where historical data is incomplete, unavailable, or no longer representative of future behavior. Strategically, expert judgment interprets business realities that models cannot fully see. This includes pricing changes, new campaigns, policy updates, system outages, regulatory shifts, and client strategy decisions. These factors often emerge before they are reflected in historical data patterns. Expert judgment also serves as a calibration layer during volatility. When environments change rapidly, due to market disruption, behavioral shifts, or external shocks, expert input helps adjust model outputs so forecasts remain realistic and actionable. In long-term forecasting, expert judgment injects contextual intelligence. It connects operational forecasts to strategic capacity planning, budgeting, and investment decisions. This ensures long-range forecasts align with where the business is intentionally heading, not just where it has been. Most importantly, expert judgment provides foresight. It anticipates events that are not yet visible in data, such as regulatory changes, competitor actions, technology rollouts, or shifts in customer expectations. This forward-looking perspective complements even the most advanced AI systems. In a multimodal forecasting ecosystem, expert judgment becomes the strategic glue. It aligns statistical models, machine learning outputs, and AI forecasts with real-world business strategy, risk appetite, and operational intent. The strategic principle is clear. AI and models deliver precision and scale. Expert judgment delivers context, foresight, and governance. Together, they create resilient, credible, and decision-ready forecasts for the long term. Next strategic question, governance of expert judgment. Question 2. How should a call center strategically govern the use of expert judgment to avoid over-reliance or bias? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. To prevent over-reliance or bias, expert judgment in a call center environment must be governed with the same discipline applied to statistical and AI-driven forecasts. A robust governance framework begins with documented assumptions. Every expert override must be supported by clear, measurable drivers, such as confirmed campaigns, policy changes, or operational disruptions. Unexplained intuition should never enter the forecast. The second pillar is accuracy tracking. Expert performance should be measured through an accuracy dashboard covering 3, 6, and 12-month horizons. This allows the organization to distinguish between consistently reliable experts and occasional outliers. The third element is a structured review cadence. Forecast governance reviews should be held monthly and include workforce management, operations, the client, and finance. This cross-functional view ensures expert input is challenged, validated, and aligned with business reality. The fourth control is weighted forecasting. Expert judgment should not carry equal influence by default. Weights should be dynamically adjusted based on past accuracy, clarity of assumptions, and the severity of business impact. Higher-risk decisions demand higher evidence standards. The fifth safeguard is approval control. High-impact overrides, typically those exceeding 10%, should require leadership sign-off. This prevents unilateral decisions that could materially affect cost, service level, or customer experience. The final pillar is auditability. All expert overrides must be recorded in a forecasting change log, including rationale, data sources, and approval history. This creates a transparent audit trail and enables post-cycle learning. When governed correctly, expert judgment becomes a controlled strategic asset rather than a subjective risk. This framework ensures transparency, accountability, and trust, while preserving the flexibility needed to respond to real-world complexity. Next strategic question: expert judgment during competitive disruption. Question 3. A new competitor enters the market. Models show stable demand, but experts warn of potential volume decline. What is your strategic approach? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When a new competitor enters the market, statistical models may continue to show stable demand, while experts warn of a potential volume decline. In this situation, my strategic approach is to treat expert judgment as an early warning system, not as a trigger for immediate overreaction. The first step is scenario-based strategic forecasting. Rather than committing to a single outcome, I define multiple scenarios. Scenario A assumes no immediate impact and stable demand. Scenario B assumes moderate migration, around a 5% volume decline. Scenario C assumes a more aggressive outcome, such as a 15% market share loss. This frames uncertainty in structured, decision-ready terms. The second step is validation through external intelligence. I look beyond internal data to assess competitive threat. This includes industry reports, market commentary, sentiment analysis, client insights, and any early customer feedback related to pricing, features, or service comparisons. External signals help determine whether expert concern is speculative or grounded. The third step is to prepare a flexible capacity strategy. Instead of resizing the workforce prematurely, I design flexibility into the plan. This includes greater use of part-time staffing, cross-skilled agents, voluntary overtime or time-off levers, and contingency hiring plans. Flexibility protects service levels while limiting cost risk. The fourth step is real-time indicator monitoring. I closely track leading signals such as IVR entry volumes, customer login activity, app usage trends, and inquiry types. Early movement in these indicators often appears before headline volume changes. The fifth step is frequent recalibration. During periods of competitive disruption, I shorten the forecasting cycle. Forecasts and assumptions are reviewed weekly, and adjustments are made based on observed customer behavior rather than fear or speculation. The strategic insight is clear. During competitive disruption, expert judgment acts as an early warning radar, highlighting risks before models can detect them. Data provides confirmation over time, but expert insight ensures the organization is prepared, flexible, and not caught reacting too late. Next strategic question: long-term capacity planning using expert judgment. Question 4. How do you strategically incorporate expert judgment in annual capacity planning? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. In annual capacity planning, expert judgment plays a strategic role by ensuring forecasts align with where the business is going, not just where the data has been. The first step is to incorporate the business roadmap. Experts provide forward-looking insight into planned changes such as new product lines, policy shifts, geographic expansion, digital initiatives, and the automation roadmap. These factors often have multi-quarter impacts that historical data alone cannot capture. The second step is to build macro assumption layers. I translate expert insight into high-level demand drivers. For example, industry growth of 3%, customer base expansion of 8%, seasonal uplift of 12%, and regulatory risk of 5%. These assumptions form the strategic foundation of the annual forecast. The third step is expert-led scenario modeling. I develop three structured views. A base case reflecting the most likely business path. An optimistic case assuming faster growth or successful initiatives. And a conservative case accounting for risk, delays, or market pressure. This ensures leadership can plan across uncertainty rather than for a single outcome. The fourth step is to convert forecasts into strategic capacity requirements. I translate expert reasoning into concrete workforce plans. This includes FTE pipelines, hiring buffers, skill mix ratios, training demand, and multi-skill capacity strategies. Expert judgment is critical here to anticipate where flexibility, not just scale, is required. The fifth step is governance through regular review. Annual plans are not static. I review and recalibrate assumptions quarterly to reflect new market intelligence, performance trends, and strategic shifts. This keeps long-term plans relevant and responsive. The strategic impact is clear. Expert judgment ensures that capacity planning is proactive and strategy-led, not reactive or purely historical. When combined with data and models, it enables resilient, future-ready workforce strategies that support growth, efficiency, and service excellence. Next strategic question: expert judgment versus client expectations. Question 5. Your experts forecast a 15% increase next quarter. The client insists it will be 5%. How do you strategically resolve this? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When expert forecasts and client expectations diverge, the objective is not to win an argument, but to arrive at a strategically aligned and defensible forecast. In this case, experts project a 15% increase next quarter, while the client believes the increase will be only 5%. My approach is collaborative, evidence-based, and governance-driven. The first step is a joint assumptions review. I bring experts and the client together to explicitly compare assumptions. We examine what experts are factoring in, what the client is assuming, any external triggers such as campaigns or policy changes, and how recent data trends behave. This transparency often explains why the numbers differ. The second step is to present data-driven evidence. I share objective insights such as the last 3 years of volumes for the same quarter, seasonality curves, digital traffic trends, and any confirmed product launches or roadmap items. This grounds the discussion in facts rather than opinions. The third step is to create a mutually aligned forecast range. Instead of forcing agreement on a single number, I propose a structured range. A low scenario at 5%, reflecting the client's view. A midpoint around 10% as a balanced outlook. And a high scenario at 15%, reflecting expert judgment. This approach acknowledges uncertainty while maintaining alignment. The fourth step is to align resources and cost strategy to the range. I design staffing and hiring plans that are flexible, scaling up or down depending on which scenario materialize. This protects service levels without overcommitting cost. The final step is governance documentation. I document the agreed range, underlying assumptions, decision logic, and adjustment triggers. This creates a clear audit trail and supports accountability in future reviews. The strategic outcome is balanced and pragmatic. Client perspective is respected, but decisions are anchored in data and expert-driven strategy. This approach builds trust, reduces conflict, and ensures the forecast remains both credible and actionable. Next strategic question, managing forecast risk. Question 6. How should expert judgment be strategically used to manage high-risk forecasting environments? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. In high-risk forecasting environments, expert judgment should be used strategically as a risk management tool, not as a substitute for data, but as an early warning and stabilization mechanism. The first role of expert judgment is risk identification. Experts are often the first to sense emerging threats that models cannot yet detect. This includes regulatory announcements, product failures, market disruptions, competitor actions, and black swan events. Their value lies in surfacing risk early, before it appears in historical patterns. The second step is building risk buffers. Once risks are identified, expert judgment helps translate uncertainty into controlled buffers. For example, adding a 5% volume spike buffer, a 10-second AHT buffer, or an additional 2 to 4% shrinkage buffer. These buffers are deliberate safeguards, not guesses. The third step is layered risk forecasting. Instead of producing a single forecast, I build multiple risk-adjusted views. A best-case scenario assuming risks do not materialize. An expected-case scenario reflecting the most likely outcome. And a worst-case scenario assuming adverse events occur. This prepares leadership to act under uncertainty rather than react to surprises. The fourth step is aligning staffing levers to risk direction. For upward risk, I plan overtime, on-call capacity, or flexible staffing. For downward risk, I prepare voluntary time off or hiring pauses. For volatility, I rely on cross-skilled agents to absorb demand shifts. Expert judgment guides which levers to activate and when. The fifth step is continuous recalibration. High-risk environments cannot be managed with static forecasts. Expert assumptions, buffers, and scenarios are reviewed weekly and adjusted as new signals emerge. This governance loop ensures responsiveness without panic. The strategic insight is clear. In volatile and high-risk conditions, expert judgment acts as a risk radar, detecting threats, shaping buffers, and guiding flexible response, while data confirms direction over time. Used this way, expert judgment strengthens resilience, protects service levels, and preserves forecast credibility. Next strategic question, combining expert judgment with AI forecasting. Question 7. What is the strategic advantage of combining expert judgment with AI ML forecasting models? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. The strategic advantage of combining expert judgment with AI and machine learning forecasting lies in balance. AI provides scale, consistency, and pattern recognition. Expert judgment provides context, foresight, and governance. The first advantage is interpreting non-quantifiable events. AI models depend on historical data. They cannot anticipate regulatory changes, competitor offers, operational crises, or sudden staffing disruptions before those events appear in the data. Experts fill this gap by translating real-world signals into forward-looking adjustments. The second advantage is reducing model drift. Over time, AI models can become misaligned as conditions change. Experts help detect drift caused by outdated training data, shifting seasonality, or evolving customer behavior. Their insight prompts timely recalibration before accuracy degrades. The third advantage is higher accuracy during transitions. AI excels at learning from the past. Experts excel at anticipating what is about to change. During product launches, policy updates, market disruptions, or channel migrations, expert judgment stabilize forecasts while models catch up. The fourth advantage is client trust and transparency. Many clients are cautious of black box forecasts. A hybrid approach, where AI outputs are reviewed and contextualized by experts, builds confidence, credibility, and explainability in forecasting decisions. The fifth advantage is speed to correction. Expert judgment enables same-day or next-day forecast adjustments when conditions shift suddenly. AI retraining, by contrast, requires time, data accumulation, and validation. Expert input ensures agility without waiting for the model to relearn reality. The strategic conclusion is clear. AI delivers precision, automation, and scalability. Expert judgment delivers interpretation, foresight, and control. Together, they create a resilient, adaptive, and trustworthy forecasting ecosystem, far stronger than either approach alone. Next strategic question: long-term impact of expert judgment errors. Question 8. What strategic risks arise if expert judgment is consistently inaccurate? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When expert judgment is consistently inaccurate, the impact extends far beyond short-term forecast errors. Over time, it creates significant strategic risks across cost, service, trust, and decision-making. The first risk is cost blowouts. Repeated overforecasting leads to unnecessary hiring, excess capacity, and idle labor. Repeated underforecasting drives overtime, premium staffing, and burnout. At scale, these errors can translate into millions in avoidable annual cost. The second risk is service-level damage. Inaccurate forecasts result in missed SLAs, longer wait times, and degraded customer experience. SLA breaches often trigger contractual penalties and erode commercial credibility. The third risk is loss of client trust. When expert-driven forecasts repeatedly miss outcomes, clients begin to question the organization's workforce management maturity. Once trust is lost, even accurate future forecasts are challenged. The fourth risk is capacity instability. Poor expert judgment creates constant staffing turbulence. Teams are repeatedly ramped up, ramped down, or reshuffled, reducing productivity and increasing attrition. Operational stability is replaced with reactive firefighting. The fifth risk is leadership misalignment. Long-term strategic decisions, such as pricing, budgeting, expansion plans, and investment priorities, depend on reliable forecasts. If expert judgment is flawed, leadership decisions are made on incorrect assumptions, compounding the impact over time. The sixth risk is model degradation. When inaccurate expert overrides are fed back into forecasting systems, they contaminate future model calibration. This weakens AI and statistical models, creating a negative feedback loop where both human and machine forecasts deteriorate. The strategic takeaway is clear. Expert judgment is powerful, but unmanaged expert judgment is dangerous. To prevent these risks, organizations organizations must implement strong calibration, accuracy tracking, and governance mechanisms. When governed correctly, expert judgment strengthens forecasting. When left unchecked, it becomes a long-term strategic liability. Next strategic question: when expert judgment should override data. Question 10. At a strategic level, when should expert judgment override statistical and AI models? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. At a strategic level, expert judgment should override statistical and AI models only under clearly defined conditions. Overrides are exceptions, not the default, and must be evidence-backed, not belief-driven. The first condition is when data is insufficient or invalid. This includes new lines of business with no history, periods with missing or corrupted data, or environments where historical trends have been structurally disrupted. In these cases, models lack a reliable foundation, and expert judgment becomes the primary input. The second condition is when a known upcoming event will materially impact demand. Examples include confirmed marketing campaigns, pricing changes, regulatory updates, competitor outages, or major policy shifts. If the event is real, time-bound, and not yet reflected in historical data, expert judgment should lead. The third condition is when real-world signals contradict model predictions. This may include negative media coverage, system failures, operational breakdowns, or sudden seasonality changes. When observable reality diverges from model output, expert interpretation is required to correct the forecast. The fourth condition is when market changes occur faster than data can respond. Customer preference shifts, viral events, sudden reputational issues, or major product failures often unfold in days, not months. AI models need time to retrain. Expert judgment provides immediate directional correction. The fifth condition is expert credibility. Overrides should only be applied by experts with proven historical accuracy and high-confidence reasoning. Expert judgment without a performance track record should never supersede validated models. The strategic principle is clear. Expert judgment should override data only when there is demonstrable evidence, a known limitation in the model, and a clear real-world driver. Used this way, expert judgment strengthens forecasting resilience. Used without discipline, it undermines accuracy and trust. Next strategic question: building expert judgment maturity. Question 10. How should a call center strategically build stronger expert judgment forecasting capability? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. To build a strong and reliable expert judgment capability, a call center must treat expert forecasting as a discipline, not an informal opinion. The first step is to establish a forecasting center of excellence. This centralizes forecasting ownership, standards, and best practices. A COE ensures consistency in how expert judgment is applied, reviewed, and governed across the organization. The second step is capability development. Experts must be trained not only through experience, but through analytical skill building. This includes data interpretation, event correlation, variance analysis, and basic statistical reasoning. Strong expert judgment is analytical, not anecdotal. The third step is standardization. I implement common event calendars, forecasting templates, and judgment frameworks. This ensures experts evaluate similar situations in similar ways, reducing variability and bias. The fourth step is to create a forecasting knowledge library. I document recurring events, their historical impacts, assumption logic, and lessons learned. Over time, This library becomes institutional memory that improves judgment quality and reduces reliance on individual intuition. The fifth step is structured post-mortem reviews. Each month, I conduct forecast accuracy reviews focused on learning, not blame. We analyze what worked, what failed, and why. This feedback loop continuously sharpens expert calibration. The sixth step is cross-functional participation. Expert judgment improves when insights come from multiple perspectives. Operations, quality, product, marketing, and client teams all contribute signals that enrich forecasting context. The seventh step is AI-assisted insight integration. Experts should not compete with AI, they should interpret it. I train experts to read AI outputs, question anomalies, validate assumptions, and flag model limitations. This creates a powerful human plus machine forecasting approach. The strategic outcome is maturity. Expert judgment becomes disciplined, data-aware, transparent, and aligned with business strategy. Instead of being a risk factor, it becomes a strategic advantage that strengthens forecasting accuracy, credibility, and resilience over the long term. Next strategic question: forecasting in uncertain economic conditions. Question 11. Economic conditions are unstable due to inflation, job losses, and market volatility. Your models show normal demand, but experts warn that customer behavior may shift. How do you strategically incorporate expert judgment into your long-term forecasts? Think for a moment. And here is the answer. When economic conditions are unstable due to inflation, job losses, and market volatility, statistical models may continue to show normal demand. However, expert judgment becomes critical because customer behavior can shift faster than data can reflect. My strategic approach is to integrate expert judgment as a controlled overlay on long-term forecasts, not as a replacement for models. The first step is to build a macroeconomic sensitivity layer. I introduce explicit volatility buffers into the forecast. For example, a 5% uplift for general financial stress events, 7 to 10% during compliance or payment cycles, and up to 12% if market panic or sudden behavioral reactions are observed. These buffers acknowledge uncertainty without assuming worst-case outcomes. The second step is to use expert judgment for behavioral interpretation. Experts are uniquely positioned to detect early signs of change, such as rising customer anxiety, increased payment defaults, product cancellations, or spikes in inquiry-driven calls. These behavioral shifts often appear in conversations and frontline signals before they appear in volume data. The third step is dual-path planning. I maintain two parallel forecast views. Path A is the model-based forecast, assuming normal demand continuity. Path B is an expert-driven economic shock scenario that reflects downside or volatility risk. This allows leadership to plan capacity, budgets, and contingencies without committing prematurely to one outcome. The fourth step is dynamic quarterly recalibration. In volatile economic environments, annual forecasts cannot remain static. Each quarter, I review payment behavior, collection performance, delinquency trends, and broader market sentiment. Experts adjust assumptions and buffers based on what they are seeing on the ground. The fifth step is cross-validation with client and business insights. I actively incorporate inputs from finance, product, and risk teams. These functions often detect early stress signals such as churn risk, credit tightening, or changes in customer affordability well before they affect contact volumes. The strategic outcome is resilience. By combining model-based stability with expert-driven sensitivity overlays, The organization avoids being caught unprepared during sudden economic shifts. Expert judgment acts as an early warning and interpretation layer, ensuring long-term forecasts remain realistic, flexible, and aligned with real customer behavior in volatile markets. Next strategic question: forecasting during digital transformation. Question 12. A major digital transformation program is rolling out over the next 12 months: self-service enhancements, chatbot upgrades. How do you strategically incorporate expert judgment in transformations? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When a major digital transformation program rolls out over the next 12 months, expert judgment plays a strategic role in translating digital ambition into operational reality. The first step is to build a digital deflection roadmap. Working with digital and product leaders, experts estimate phased deflection over time. For example, 5% in quarter 1, 10% in quarter 2, 15% in quarter 3, and 20% by quarter 4. This creates a forward-looking view of how demand is expected to shift away from assisted channels. The second step is assumption validation using adoption metrics. I do not rely on estimates alone. I track app registrations, digital login rates, chatbot utilization, and IVR containment. These metrics confirm whether customer adoption is tracking ahead of, in line with, or behind expert expectations. The third step is channel mix forecasting. Digital transformation does not reduce demand evenly. I use expert judgment to forecast each channel independently. Voice, chat, messaging apps, and email are modeled separately to reflect how customers actually migrate between channels. The fourth step is strategic HD adjustment. As simple queries move to self-service, the remaining assisted contacts often become more complex. Experts help quantify this effect. I typically plan for a 5 to 10% increase in average handle time, even as total contact volume declines. This protects workload accuracy and service levels. The fifth step is scenario-based planning. I create high adoption, medium adoption, and low adoption scenarios. This allows capacity plans, hiring strategies, and budgets to remain flexible as real customer behavior emerges. The sixth step is continuous expert review. Each month, I review progress with product and digital teams. Experts interpret why customers are adopting quickly, adopting slowly, or resisting change. Those insights are fed back into forecast assumptions and capacity plans. The strategic insight is clear. Digital transformation is not just a technology journey, it is a behavioral one. Expert judgment connects digital strategy to real customer behavior, ensuring forecasts remain realistic, adaptive, and operationally sound throughout the transformation. Next strategic question: expert judgment for pricing and commercial decisions. Question 13. You need to present a quarterly forecast to clients which will influence pricing, billing, and FTE baselines. How do you strategically use expert judgment to build a... Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When a quarterly forecast will directly influence pricing, billing, and FTE baselines, expert judgment must be applied with maximum discipline, transparency, and commercial awareness. The first step is to build a client-visible assumption framework. I clearly articulate the expert-driven assumptions behind the forecast. These include planned product launches, campaign cycles, expected market behavior, regulatory updates, and demand elasticity. By making assumptions explicit, the forecast becomes explainable rather than subjective. The second step is to create a transparent, driver-based model. I show clients exactly how each assumption translates into volume impact. For example, how a product launch contributes incremental contacts, or how a campaign cycle increases inbound demand. This linkage builds credibility because clients can trace the forecast back to real business drivers. The third step is to use consensus expert judgment. Rather than relying on a single viewpoint, I aggregate inputs from workforce management leads, operations leaders, product subject matter experts, marketing teams, and client stakeholders. Consensus reduces individual bias and increases confidence in the final number. The fourth step is to translate expert insights into financial impact. I convert volume changes into cost implications. For example, an 8% volume increase may translate into an additional $300,000 in quarterly cost. Clients engage more effectively when forecasts are expressed in financial terms, not just volumes. The fifth step is to present forecast ranges rather than a single fixed number. I provide a conservative scenario, a balanced scenario, and an optimistic scenario. This allows pricing and capacity decisions to be risk-adjusted instead of locked to a single assumption. The strategic effect is powerful. Expert judgment, when structured this way, produces a forecast that is defensible, transparent, and commercially credible. It strengthens client trust, supports fair pricing decisions, and aligns operational planning with business reality, rather than speculation. Next strategic question: handling aggressive or unrealistic client expectations. Question 14. A client expects only plus 5% growth, but experts and internal leadership anticipate plus 15-18% due to multiple triggers. How do you strut without creating conflict? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When a client expects only 5% growth, but experts and internal leadership anticipate a much higher increase, between 15 and 18%, the objective is alignment without confrontation. My approach is evidence-led, structured, and diplomatic. The first step is to present evidence-backed expert judgment. I do not challenge the client's expectation directly. Instead, I share objective insights. This includes seasonality curves, the projected impact of upcoming campaigns, comparable events from last year, and relevant market or industry benchmarks. The goal is to show why internal expectations differ, using facts rather than opinion. The second step is to introduce forecasting layers. I explicitly separate perspectives. Layer 1 reflects the client's expectation at 5%. Layer 2 reflects expert and leadership expectations at 15 to 18%. Layer 3 is a hybrid operational range, typically around 10 to 12%, which balances optimism with caution. This framing reduces defensiveness and creates common ground. The third step is to propose dual readiness plans. I outline two operational plans. Plan A is built around the client's 5% assumption. Plan B is built around the higher expert-driven scenario. This shows respect for the client's view while ensuring the organization is not exposed to operational risk. The fourth step is risk-based pricing and cost discussion. I transparently explain the cost and service level implications of underpreparing. For example, what happens to SLAs, customer experience, and recovery costs if actual growth lands closer to 15% while planning is locked at 5%. This reframes the discussion from forecast disagreement to risk management. The final step is documentation and governance. I document the shared assumptions, agreed ranges, and readiness triggers. This avoids future disputes and ensures alignment when actuals emerge. The strategic insight is clear. You do not win alignment by insisting on being right. You win it by being structured, evidence-based, and respectful of the client's position while still protecting operational reality and service outcomes. Next strategic question: managing forecast drift. Scenario 15. Your forecasts are consistently underpredicting by 7-9%. Models are being tuned, but experts say customer intent has fundamentally changed. Question: strategic steps will you take? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When forecasts are consistently underpredicting by 7-9%, and experts indicate that customer intent has fundamentally changed, this is no longer a short-term error. It is a structural drift that requires strategic correction. The first step is root cause investigation. I analyze why the drift exists. I assess whether there has been a market shift, a change in customer behavior, recurring product issues, new client processes, or competitive pressure. This step determines whether the drift is temporary noise or a permanent signal. The second step is to deliberately use expert judgment for pattern shift detection. Experts often recognize behavioral changes before models do. For example, customers may be calling earlier, calling more frequently, or contacting us for new reasons that were previously rare. This qualitative insight is critical when historical data is no longer representative. The third step is to rebaseline seasonality and long-term curves. If experts confirm that demand has structurally shifted upward, I do not wait for months of data to accumulate. I apply expert-informed adjustments to seasonal baselines so forecasts reflect the new normal rather than outdated patterns. The fourth step is to update the forecasting framework itself. I introduce new call drivers, revise distribution ratios, and update day-of-week or intraday patterns. This ensures the model logic evolves alongside customer behavior, not behind it. The fifth step is to implement a temporary drift correction factor. I calculate the average drift, for example 8%, and apply a correction factor of approximately 1.08 to model outputs. This correction remains in place until models are retrained and accuracy stabilizes. The strategic outcome is control and alignment. Expert judgment identifies the shift. Models are recalibrated to reflect the new reality. And the drift correction factor prevents ongoing underforecasting during the transition. The key principle is this: expert judgment is not a patch, it is an early signal. When combined with structured model recalibration, it eliminates long-term drift and restores forecasting credibility. Next strategic question: preparing for Black Swan events. Scenario 16. COVID-like disruption risk is being discussed in the industry again. How should expert judgment be used strategically to prepare the call center? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When the industry begins discussing the risk of a COVID-like black swan disruption, expert judgment must be used strategically, not to predict the event, but to prepare the organization to respond without chaos. The first step is to use expert judgment to define potential triggers. Experts help identify realistic disruption signals such as sudden lockdowns, mass customer panic, supply chain breakdowns, or new policy restrictions. These triggers become early warning markers, not forecasts. The second step is to build contingency volume multipliers. Because black swan events are nonlinear, I do not rely on normal forecasting logic. Instead, I define stress scenarios. a low-impact scenario at plus 5%, a moderate impact scenario at plus 15%, and an extreme impact scenario at plus 40%. These multipliers allow rapid scaling decisions without recalculating from scratch. The third step is to create a stress-tested capacity plan. I pressure test workforce plans against black swan realities. This includes higher shrinkage, increased absenteeism, rapid work-from-home transitions, technology readiness, and limited training capacity. Expert judgment is critical here because historical data offers little guidance. The fourth step is to pre-provision operational safety nets. Before any disruption occurs, I ensure cross-training is in place, surge staffing vendors are contracted, and flexible scheduling options are ready. These actions convert uncertainty into preparedness. The fifth step is fast-acting governance. I establish a standing expert panel that reviews risk indicators weekly. If triggers escalate, the panel can immediately activate contingency scenarios without waiting for lagging data. The strategic insight is clear. Black swan events cannot be forecasted statistically. Expert judgment becomes the early warning system, defining triggers, shaping scenarios, and enabling rapid, disciplined response. Used this way, expert judgment does not create fear. It creates readiness, resilience, and operational control in the face of the unknown. Next strategic question: strategic calibration of expert accuracy. Question 17. Your organization wants to standardize expert judgment accuracy across regions: India, Philippines, LATAM. How do you strategically implement this? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When an organization operates across multiple geographies, such as India, the Philippines, and LATAM, expert judgment must be calibrated strategically to ensure consistency, fairness, and forecasting credibility. The first step is to create a universal expert accuracy scorecard. This scorecard applies the same performance metrics across all regions. I track MAPE, WAPE, forecast bias, forecast hit rate, and the frequency of expert overrides. Using a common measurement framework removes subjectivity and enables like-for-like comparison. The second step is dynamic expert weighting. Expert judgment should not carry equal influence by default. Regions and individuals with higher historical accuracy receive higher weighting in consolidated forecasts. Lower accuracy does not mean exclusion, but it does mean reduced influence until performance improves. This creates accountability without discouraging participation. The third step is cross-geography learning. Each region often sees different signals first. Experts in India may detect billing or compliance-related trends early. LATAM experts may be more sensitive to socio-economic or regulatory shifts. Philippines experts may recognize digital adoption or channel migration patterns sooner. Structured sharing sessions allow regions to learn from each other's strengths. The fourth step is quarterly calibration workshops. In these sessions, I standardize forecasting assumptions, review major variances, and realign logic across regions. The objective is not uniform thinking, but uniform methodology. Regional context is preserved, while forecasting discipline is standardized. The fifth step is to anchor forecasting on AI and analytics. AI models provide a consistent, unbiased baseline across all geographies. Expert judgment then acts as a refinement layer, adjusting, contextualizing, and stress-testing model outputs rather than replacing them. The strategic outcome is maturity and consistency. Expert judgment becomes measurable, comparable, and continuously improving across regions. Forecasting quality no longer depends on geography or individual intuition, it depends on disciplined calibration, shared learning, and data-driven governance. Next strategic question: managing forecast under high innovation velocity. Scenario: a fintech client is launching features every 2 weeks. Statistical models cannot stabilize. Experts say, expect unpredictable spikes. 18. What strategic forecasting approach should you adopt? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When a fintech client is launching new features every 2 weeks, traditional statistical models struggle to stabilize. In such high innovation environments, expert judgment must be used strategically to enable agility rather than false precision. The first step is to shift the forecasting methodology. I move away from static, long-term models and adopt adaptive short-cycle forecasting. Forecasts are refreshed weekly, or even more frequently, so they remain aligned with rapid product changes. The second step is layered expert judgment. Experts do not provide a single vague adjustment. They break impact down by feature type. Payment features may drive 10 to 12% volume increases. User interface changes may create 5 to 7% uplift. Compliance features can trigger 20 to 25% spikes. Security alerts or fraud-related changes may drive 30 to 50% surges. This structured layering converts unpredictability into manageable ranges. The third step is to build a rolling forecast engine. Rather than locking forecasts for a month or quarter, I refresh them every 3 to 7 days. This allows new feature launches to be incorporated almost immediately, preventing forecast drift. The fourth step is agile capacity planning. High-velocity innovation demands flexible staffing. I rely on cross-skilled agents, short-term overtime levers, flexible scheduling, and rapid reallocation across queues. Expert judgment helps decide which levers to activate based on feature risk. The fifth step is to develop a feature impact playbook. After each launch, experts document actual demand impact, duration, and call drivers. These learnings are captured as impact curves and reused to forecast future launches more accurately. The strategic insight is clear. In environments with constant innovation, stability is not the goal, responsiveness is. Expert judgment, when structured and layered, transforms unpredictability into adaptive forecasting that keeps operations aligned with fast-moving product strategy. Next strategic question: blending expert judgment with financial forecasting. Question 19. How should expert judgment be incorporated into financial and budgeting forecasts? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. When expert judgment is incorporated into financial and budgeting forecasts, the goal is to translate operational insight into predictable financial outcomes, not intuition into cost risk. The first step is to convert expert logic into explicit cost drivers. Expert inputs must be expressed in financial terms. For example, a 10% volume increase translates into a defined cost impact in currency. An increase of 20 seconds in average handle time converts into additional agent requirements. A digital channel shift results in FTE redistribution rather than simple cost reduction. This step ensures expert judgment speaks the language of finance. The second step is to embed expert assumptions into strategic cost models. I incorporate expert-driven logic into FTE demand curves, shrinkage projections, backlog clearance assumptions, and revenue per interaction models. This allows finance teams to see how operational realities directly influence cost, margin, and profitability. The third step is financial scenario planning. Rather than building a single rigid budget, I develop multiple financial views. A conservative scenario assumes lower growth and higher buffers. A balanced scenario reflects the most likely outcome. An aggressive scenario supports growth and investment planning. Expert judgment helps define the assumptions behind each scenario. The fourth step is alignment with finance and pricing teams. Experts actively explain why costs may rise or fall. For example, why digital deflection reduces volume but increases AHT, or why compliance-driven demand increases cost without revenue uplift. This shared understanding improves pricing decisions and avoids budget surprises. The final step is executive-ready reporting. I present forecasts in a certified format that includes expert assumptions, financial impact, risk levels, and confidence scores. This allows leadership to make informed decisions with full visibility into both opportunity and risk. The strategic outcome is clarity and control. Expert judgment, when structured and quantified, enhances financial predictability, strengthens pricing accuracy, and ensures budgets reflect real operational dynamics rather than static historical averages. Next strategic question is creating a forecasting culture. Question 20. How do you strategically build a culture where expert judgment is used responsibly and effectively? Think for a moment. And the answer is here. To build a culture where expert judgment is used responsibly and effectively, forecasting must be treated as a shared organizational capability, not an individual opinion. The first step is education. I invest in forecast literacy across operations, workforce management, and leadership. Teams are trained in analytical reasoning, basic forecasting logic, and how decisions ripple through cost, service levels, and customer experience. When people understand forecasting, judgment improves. The second step is to establish an evidence-backed mindset. I reinforce a simple rule: no data, no override. Expert opinions must be supported by observable drivers, historical analogs, or external signals. This reduces bias and encourages disciplined thinking. The third step is transparency. I build a forecasting process where drivers, logic, risks, and assumptions are visible to all stakeholders. When everyone understands how the forecast was built, trust increases and surprises decrease. The fourth step is recognition and accountability. I recognize experts who demonstrate accurate, well-reasoned judgment over time. At the same time, I hold teams accountable for assumptions that consistently miss outcomes. This balances encouragement with responsibility. The fifth step is cross-functional collaboration. Forecasting improves when multiple perspectives are included. Operations, quality, finance, client teams, and workforce management contribute insights, challenge assumptions, and validate conclusions. This reduces blind spots and strengthens decisions. The sixth step is regular retrospectives. Each month, I review forecasting errors, successes, lessons learned, and upcoming risks. These retrospectives focus on learning, not blame, and continuously raise maturity. The seventh step is technology enablement. I support expert judgment with dashboards, early indicator tools, and sentiment tracking. Technology does not replace judgment, it sharpens it. The strategic vision is clear. A strong forecasting culture is built through education, governance, transparency, and collaboration. In such a culture, expert judgment becomes disciplined, trusted, and a true strategic asset rather than a source of risk. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next video.